Court reporters hold one of the most important roles in the justice system. We're entrusted with the official records of the courts, and we also have to run our own businesses, which is not something most of us were prepared for. I'm Bryn Seymour, freelance court reporter and life coach, and I invite you to join the discussion about the problems we face and the solutions we create on the unique journey of a stenographer.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Court Reporter Podcast.
I just want to give a quick apology for the audio. We did record this podcast on Zoom before finding a reliable platform to record podcast episodes. I am still working on that. I'm still new to this. I'm a novice. So please forgive us. Please forgive me, I should say, and bear with us as we are just in the beginning of this podcast, and it can only go uphill from here, right? I didn't want to hold back. I was actually going to re-record all the interviews that we've done so far, but I don't want to hold back because B- work is better than nothing, right? So we're just gonna go uphill from here. So enjoy this episode. Please excuse the audio issues if there are any. So today on the podcast, we have Brooke Cruz. She's originally from Columbus, Ohio, and grew up with dreams of attending college to obtain a degree in creative writing. In order to escape the frigid northern winters, her family sold everything and moved to northern Florida. Welcome to the Sunshine State. At just 16 years old, contrary to her initial career path, Brooke began studying court reporting under the mentorship of her mother, who had been formerly schooled in Ohio. In 2013, only 6 months after turning 18 years old, Brooke began her career as a stenographic court reporter in downtown Tampa to gain valuable experience in criminal litigation. In 2016, Brooke entered the world of civil litigation, where she would begin reporting proceedings in high-stakes litigations, such as jury trials worth millions of dollars, celebrity actions, and appellate legal disputes. Did I say that right? Appellate or appellate? Sorry. Okay, so in 2021, Brooke developed an Instagram platform with the intention to aid and train Steno students. She offers an opportunity for mentorship, an accessible Q&A forum for online discussion, and remote complimentary Zoom classes. In 2019, she received the Special Recognition Award from the Florida Court Reporters Association for assistance in mock trials. In 2020, Brooke was the face on billboards across Florida for Court Reporting and Captioning Week. She has obtained her Registered Professional Reporter Certification, Florida Professional Reporter Certification, and Georgia Certified Court Reporter Certification. Brooke still enjoys creative writing. You can check out her personal blog. I'll link it in the show notes. And also, she does creative makeup and fashion design. Her hobbies also include cooking. You can find that on her website. She has a whole section for recipes, and in-depth apologetics research, making puns, and watching movies. So let's get right into it with Brooke.
Hi, Brooke.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I could not be better. How are you?
Excited to talk to you today. So I have been watching your stories on Instagram, and that's why I was like, who is this? I need to talk to her. I need to be her friend. She needs to be on the podcast. And so here we are. I reached out to Brooke. So I have been watching your videos on Instagram, and I love everything that you have to say. Especially love the fact that you throw in Bible verses after every post. And that's why I reached out to you originally, because I was like, I'm a Christian too. I'm so inspired by the fact that you put the word of God, and like we rely on God for our power for anything that we do. And so we even have like a Bible study group for court reporters. Brooke, why don't you tell us about yourself and your journey to court reporting and what you have to offer to all the students that you mentor?
I mentor, I teach, I encourage.
Yeah, you have your own school now.
Yeah, kind of like an unofficial school. I'll teach you stenography. I'll teach you what I know, and it's super helpful.
That's amazing.
It is official. But no, okay, so from the beginning, I was in middle school one day, and, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to grow up and be. I initially wanted to be a fashion designer and a creative writer, but I ended up following my mom's footsteps, going to stenography. She wanted to see if I liked steno, so she let me use one of her machines. She had like one or two, I think maybe just one, and it was the paper and ink machine. And so I didn't know ink stained, and I found that out real quick. And then, so she showed me how to load the paper. She showed me how to read it back. And then I found out what happened if you add too much ink to the machine. So she started getting me on theory. She started giving me her old college books that she had used because she went to college. And so she's like, follow these. And I'm like, what in the world? And so I started learning theory. And then by 18, I never went to high school. I never went to public school. I never went to a prom, anything that high school, stuff like that. I've never done that before. So I went straight.
I never would know.
When people are like, oh, they go to like a college semester. I'm like, all right, what's a semester? Like, give me that. But she taught me everything that I know about stenography. And I'm really grateful for that. She really did the heavy lifting when it comes to my career. She said she doesn't want me to have a college loan to worry about, the college atmosphere to worry about. She enjoyed her college time, but she's like, maybe you just want to learn at home. And I did. So I went to the University of the Living Room and I attended every day. And she basically was like, all right, what speed are you at? What speed are you at? But long story short, I went from a very homeschooled Steno kind of teaching to the public defender's attorney's office criminal division, where I didn't know the first thing about, the courthouses or anything like that. So she kind of took me under her wing in the public defender's office, and I did all kinds of crimes. I reported all kinds of crimes.
I was going to say, do you want to clarify that?
This isn't recorded, is it?
Okay. You are a jokester. Okay.
All right. So yeah, I did all kinds of, I hadn't done a trial. I wouldn't do a full jury trial until 2017. I started my court reporting journey in 2013 when I was 18 years old. And after a few years, maybe like 4 or 5 years, I went into civil litigation and I started thinking it'll be just like criminal work. And it was so far from the truth. It was much, much more different. And I'm having a very good time as a stenographer with my mom. We were both just having like the greatest time, just exchanging stories and, networking together. But what was it?
Cute.
It was like in 2021, I think I decided to start mentoring, and then it just kind of went from there.
That is so cool. And then I just saw the other day, after I had reached out to you for a podcast, I saw on your Instagram you talking about your new website. And so I asked you for the link and you shared it. So I'm looking at it right now. Can I just read like a little bit of this to everyone? Because it's amazing.
Yeah, of course. Whatever you want.
All right. So it is Brooke. Wait, I'm sorry. It says brookesteno.com, but I think I remember going to brook.steno.
Well, with the domain, it's kind of picky, so I think just the website name is brookesteno.com.
So I think that's what I typed.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram biography portion. If you wanted to type it straight into Google, it would be brookesteno.com. But you can type it either way, and it would take you to the same destination.
Okay, yeah, I think it just redirected to brookesteno.com. Okay, that's easy. So it says a comprehensive at-home stenography education is not only possible, it's free. If you desire to educate yourself from wherever you are with the help of professional online courses, yet groan at the financial burden it may incur, look no further than Brooke.steno. So Brooke.steno's online videos and blog is a self-paced and organized approach to achieving your dream career. No more stressful classroom environment. I wish this existed before when I was going to school. You choose the location to learn. Say goodbye to binding monthly payments. Wow, I can't believe this is free. You created a free school. Wait, so did your mom, she trained you on theory?
She taught me Sten Ed. It's a very stroke intensive theory, but I find that I actually prefer it because I can't remember a brief for the life of me. And so I think maybe she couldn't either. I don't know, but she's way more into briefs than I am. I write everything out, but I can keep up just as fast as somebody that briefs everything. And I think it's just kind of, do you like the theory that you learn? And I did, and I picked it up pretty quickly.
I'm curious to know, did you play an instrument growing up, or are you like a musical person?
No. I was a creative writer. I have a separate website where I express my creativity through writing and through poetry and through, the books I like to read. But I've never.
And you must have had really good dexterity, because if you can type everything out and keep up, that's wow, amazing.
Well, there's a reason for that, actually. It's not because of a special anything. It's because I had probably spent 3 or so years in theory and a year in speed building. So I really got to know my machine. It was real backwards the way I did it. That's why I structure my school with the lessons that I learned. That way I can I can better structure how to learn. Like one student that I'm teaching, she's in and out of theory, but while she's in theory, I'm teaching her case catalyst. I'm teaching her transcripts. I'm teaching her formatting. Like she's going to learn all of that now. And then when she's in speed building, that's all she has to worry about is building speed. So I kind of did it backwards.
Wow. All right. So as court reporters, we all got into this profession because, and especially freelancing, we want to have freedom and be the bosses of our own schedules and be able to spend more time doing what we love to do. Maybe we have like side hobbies or side gigs, or we all have we have passions, or we have family we want to spend time with. Maybe we want to travel and just have like that freedom as court reporters. And I see that you are working really hard and making a lot of money, it seems. I mean, you seem to be like always working, and you also have time to do all these entrepreneurial things and also to teach students one-on-one even. So can you share a little bit about how you manage your time? And then we're going to talk about the discipline and motivation.
Yeah, to be fair, though, to be 100% fair, I don't have any kids. So I think if you're like a mom and you have like other like more pressing obligations, that kind of takes up more of your time. So I don't have obligations like that. So I can kind of devote more time to my hobbies and just entertaining more like side things. That's why I have more like evening time to just kind of eat dinner, take a break from my, working all day, and then jump right into schooling. Plus, it really is, I think what fuels me the most is seeing others succeed, seeing others find. I just got a message before I jumped on here. Somebody got a 95% at 120 words a minute. They're so excited. And that kind of gives me excitement. I'm just like, well, let me help you even more. So it's I'm not put out at all. I love doing this.
That's so cool. It's like you get because like humans, we need dopamine, like our brains absolutely need it. And we're always like chasing after something that will give us some dopamine. And it's nice that you can get dopamine from when a student that you're mentoring or teaching does well, because, oftentimes we get it from temporary satisfactions like food or watching Netflix and laying on the couch. Yep. See, that's what our brain always wants us to do whenever we schedule to do something. And that time comes for us to actually carry out what we planned to do. What does our brain automatically start doing? Trying to talk us out of doing what we planned to do, saying it was the terrible idea. No, you have to go clean the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Except what you planned, right?
Oh yeah. I was like in the middle of a 200-page transcript, but I'm scrubbing the hallway floor for some reason. That's what I'm doing.
To me all the time. It's so crazy. I don't even like to clean, but sometimes when things are like not organized or, just anything to distract me from what I'm supposed to be doing, it's like, why do our brains do that to us?
I don't know.
And that's where we need the discipline and the motivation, because we're always seeking comfort and pleasure in the moment. And in order to remember that when we stick to our plan and carry out what we originally wanted to fulfill, like our goals and our dreams and aspirations, when we stick to it, we don't get that immediate pleasure. We actually have to suffer some discomfort. But if we can remember like why we're doing it and, have a strong enough reason to overcome, then it's possible. So can you share like a little bit about that? Or how you've done it?
Yeah, you brought up a really good point. You just kind of have to be satisfied with delayed gratification in some areas.
That's the term.
Yeah, I learned it the other day. But you have to be satisfied with, not instantly seeing results. And that's something that I had to come to terms with even now, as I'm studying for my next level certification. I can't have a perfect transcript every single day. I can't have a perfect transcript, perfect enough to at least pass the test. But as far as discipline and as far as motivation, a huge part of that is accountability. So if I have people watching me, expecting me to produce a website, to produce different dictation for them to practice to, if I made promises, I have to keep them. So I can't just sleep in whenever I want now. Now I'm actually responsible for otherwise my word's no good. And then that kind of takes an effect on who I might be as a mentor or as a teacher. So I do want to help others succeed, like my mom helped me succeed, but that's just the surface. It goes deeper than that. It goes to, you have to be organized. I had to learn that. You have to be organized, not just have everything look neat, but you have to kind of have like a systematic organization where you can reach things easily. If somebody sends you an email, don't open it and then forget about it. Calendaring. I learned a lot of this through hard lessons, but my mom actually saved me a lot of that headache. And she's like, this is how I label my files. This is how I organize folders. But aside from all that, being motivated comes and goes. It really, truly does. I don't want to promise that I'm motivated all the time. Go, go, go. I'm really not. I spent 2 weeks actually over the holidays. I was just like, I'm not opening my email. I'm not opening my laptop. I'm just going to take a break. And like you said earlier, the hustle culture kind of frowns on that, because if you take a break, you've somehow failed. But even our phones get recharged. So how could we think more highly of our phones than we think of ourselves? And they're just devices. So even we need a break. Even we need to recharge. And so it all kind of goes hand in hand. Nothing is separate and singular. Resting works with working hard, works with being motivated, works with seeing accomplishments, kind of one thing after another.
Right. And just to touch on what you talked about with the accountability, it really is like all about accountability. And it's so interesting how most people, myself included, like it's so easy for us to stick to our appointments as long as we put it out there in the world and have it with another person, right? Yeah. Like if I make an appointment with someone, or if I schedule a Facebook Live or some event that I am kind of like promising that this is going to happen and other people are expecting it to happen, that's like helps me to stay accountable. Yeah.
Well, also what I find really interesting, and I was going to make a video on this, is that when it comes to broad topics like discipline and motivation, we tend to look at that just within our court reporting community. It is absolutely fascinating what some members of the military have to say about discipline and motivation that can completely rock your world. Like some of their quotes, some of what keeps them going that you wouldn't necessarily find in our industry. Or what about, a physician? What would a physician say about how he stays disciplined and on track? So kind of staying in your little area, not little, but kind of staying in like your area of expertise, it limits how much you know and how much, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it kind of limits you, in a way.
It's a skill that you have to build. Like we have to build the skill for our life in general. It's not something that, changes based on what career you're in, but it's like an internal skill that takes practice. And it's not like something you can just learn and then be good at it all the time. It's like it takes constant effort if you really want to be able to stick to a goal and a plan. Like I constantly have to coach myself if I really want to get the results that I want or to make sure that I stick to the plan. It's like a constant effort.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, until I got into court reporting, I didn't think so highly of packing food to go. And now, especially before COVID, I had to make sure I ate, make sure I packed, whereas before I didn't have to worry about it. So it's like new disciplines, like in every area of life. Otherwise, you can go a whole day without eating. You need to think ahead. Think, am I going to be able to eat during this job? No, then I got to pack a lunch, for example.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the attorneys always want to skip lunch. They just want to zoom right through everything and I think it'll be done by 1 o'clock and it's done by 5.
That's why I have like a little snack tray under my machine. I just pull it out and some trail mix happens to be there. That's what I've got.
Great idea. Under your machine. That's funny.
Get some pistachios. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So now back to your website. So I see that you have 5 different, or I think it's 5 different categories. You even have recipes on there and you have makeup tips and fashion tips. How fun is that?
There's more to the machine than just being fast. I can't tell you how many questions I get with, it's my first day, what do I wear? It's my first day, how do I approach my agency about, what's appropriate as far as like makeup or anything like that? Like, what do I wear in front of a judge? Or I don't know where to start with makeup. I never really cared. Now I care. Some of that stuff you kind of forget about and you kind of let go of in school because you're understandably very busy. I don't want you to think too hard about it. I've actually been doing makeup since I was probably like 13. And I've kind of acquired a lot of knowledge, and some ladies find it helpful to know that kind of information, shampoos, skincare, proper footwear, and they don't want to spend a lot of money doing it. So I just kind of wanted to be your one-stop shop to, finding some decent outfits and how to make a cupcake at the same time.
That is so considerate. Like, you really considered everything that goes into the career, not only the career, but the life of a new court reporter. So, and your makeup is always on point.
Well, see, I also watched my mom. I have to give my mom a lot of credit for this too, because I watched her life. I watched her run from point A to point B, and I'm like, what could she really use? And I looked at myself. I'm like, I am starving. Maybe somebody else is too. Let me put something in the crock pot and share that recipe that way. Because I have a lot of moms that follow my Instagram account, and they're just like, I'm tired. And I'm like, well, it's probably because you haven't eaten. And so here's a really quick dinner that you can put together in the morning, and it'll be ready by nighttime. That way you don't throw your machine out the window because you're hungry. You'll have dinner ready and your machine is safe. So that I ran into that a lot.
That's so nice of you. I'm so excited about your website. And it just launched like a couple days ago, right?
It did. I already have some speed building dictation up. I have I believe if it's not already up, it should be really soon, a free study routine. I find a lot of students come to me with, how do I get faster? I think they're looking for like a secret or some kind of what they missed along the way. So I want to teach them what path do I take to actually get fast? That's a valid question.
So do you have your RPR?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, that was kind of a dumb question because it's right there next to your name. So you have your RPR. Can you tell me how it was, your experience getting your RPR? Was it easy? Was it hard? What did you study? Because when I first got out of school, I immediately went to take the written knowledge portion of the test for the RPR. And I felt like I was reading a different language. I was like, what in the world are these questions asking? I literally have no idea. I obviously failed. I didn't even want to know what the score was. I didn't care to check. So I did not proceed to do the skills test. I just left it at that. And, I figured I need to make a plan to study for the RPR. But when I ordered that huge textbook from the NCRA, I was very intimidated by it. And it sat in my basement for a couple of years.
Yep. No, yeah, those textbooks are big. And then other companies are offering their own versions of RPR study guides. So it's like, what do I study? I don't, especially as a student. So my experience with the RPR, it's a really good question. I found it to be relatively easy because I spent all of my time on my machine, sometimes hours and hours a day. And I mostly did practice dictations with my mother's cassette tapes back then. And I had to learn how to use a cassette tape. And my mind was blown because there was like dictation on the other side of the tape. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is awesome. I was like, Mom, where's the rest of the audio? She's like, turn it around. I'm like, the recorder? But so I did Q&A dictation. So that's the first one that I took. I found that to be easy. I was really used to my speakers by that point. The hardest for me was jury charge because I had no court experience. I'm not familiar with that. So I took that one last. I took the literary second, and I ended up passing them all on my first try. I wasn't worried too much about it because I had known my theory so well. And I think that's the key. I think people think the key is speed, but really it's theory. If you don't really know your theory that well, you're not going to pick up on speed that fast. Like, how are you going to shift gears if you don't know where the gears are to move your car faster, The written knowledge test, I took I think I stopped counting. I think I took it like 3 times. I took it 3 times. I basically flipped through a few pages of the NCRA RPR textbook, and I read up on COPE, the COPE advisory opinions. I knew that was a big one from my previous testing experiences. And then I ended up just reading the question carefully and then ended up finally passing it the last time. But that was so satisfying, just finally being done with it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one that failed the written knowledge portion on my first try.
Nope. Yeah, no, if I'm teaching a young lady right now, we're learning written test right now. She's just out of theory. We're starting speed building and written knowledge test prep because it's tough in my opinion.
So what do you recommend studying? The RPR study guide or the NCRA Code of Ethics? Which one's more helpful? I hope you say the NCRA Code of Ethics. so much smaller.
I knew what you were talking about. I knew, yeah. If you were trying to pass the RPR, I would start out with being realistic. What's the toughest thing for you? Is it speed? Then study that the most. For me, it was the written knowledge test.
That's what I'm talking about, written knowledge.
Yeah, what I used to study in my experience, I used the NCRA guide on the NCRA's website. It was a pink book.
Oh, the pink book. Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
Yep, I used the pink book. I flipped through some of the bigger portions of the test. I think technology was maybe one of the bigger portions, so I really kind of studied it in order of what they were going to test you on. I knew my weakness was legal terms, medical terms, things like that. I kind of had technology down. And then code of ethics is a huge, I cannot stress, code of professional ethics. They're big on that, and you should kind of be big on that anyway as a reporter, even if there was no written knowledge test involved. You kind of want to know the do's and don'ts and best practices of your career. So
it's like we have the responsibility of learning so many things on our own. So it's kind of cool that you learned everything on your own pretty much anyway, but a lot of us have to figure out, though we're not like intentionally doing it, but we kind of get thrown out into the workforce and realize that there's a lot more that we didn't learn in school.
Well, I actually have that on my website as well. I have a sample transcript, a sample notice of duces tecum on my website because a lot of students haven't seen one before. They've never seen a notice. They've never seen a transcript, title, and pages. So I've got just stuff that I really wish that I would have had as a court reporting student before starting.
I hope there are a lot of Steno students listening to this. I'm sure there will be. You have laid everything out for all of the students and even new reporters. Thank you so much for doing that. That's really amazing.
Oh, it's my pleasure. In fact, I've made so many friends too, aside from the teaching part of it. There's just so many lovely women that I've met that are just so helpful. I'm not just encouraging to them, they're encouraging to me too. They make me laugh all the time. Their sense of humor is incredible. They have me bursting out laughing just in random public places because of, some of their stories. It's a pleasure, more on my part, for sure.
It's so important for us to be a community of court reporters because it is a lonely career. We often have to isolate ourselves and we don't really communicate too much with other court reporters. It's not something where we have a collaborative work environment aside from our team of scopists and proofreaders or whatever we create internally for our own businesses.
Yeah, but you can kind of just get caught up and forget to make friends, and forget to reach out and talk.
And when I read the posts on the Court Reporters Vent Uncensored, it's just so comforting to see that we're all going through the same struggles and the same sufferings and having to make judgments about things that we didn't really expect to happen. You said that you forgot your machine one time.
Oh, not one time, 3 times. I have forgotten my.
So what happened?
What do I need it for? I don't need it. I'm not going here for anything. Well, I had to let them know that
That was always my biggest fear.
It was mine too. I had to let them know that we aren't doing this, at least right now. We're not doing this demo now. We're going to have to wait because my machine's on the way. It's a separate purchase. So I either had to have them wait. It happened so few and far between, and I've tried to block
someone would bring it for you?
Yeah.
Your mom or a friend or something?
I forgot my tripod. I have forgotten recorders. I walked out one time without my shoes on. I don't know. Yep.
I'm sure as soon as you stepped outside, you realized you didn't have your shoes on, or did you go all the way with
I was totally normal. Totally, we're good here. But, professional mistakes, I would say the biggest professional mistake I would say was taking for granted having my mom to fall back on all the time. She's a working reporter, but I didn't comprehend. I was just but she's also my safety net. And, once I start working, I kind of have to take care of everything. I have to learn how to run my own business side of it. Mm-hmm. And she's not going to always be there to say, did you back this up? Did you remember to turn this on or this off? So that I think would be, you kind of rely too much on other people. You got to kind of get out of that mindset. I would say probably my biggest goal, if I had to choose just one, is to be intentionally better than I was last year. The phrase, it's always better to give than to receive. That's what I would like to do. I would like to be better in my own life so that others can have some kind of victory and hope and be challenged in their own lives to do better as well. That's what I would like to do.
That is so noble and beautiful. I love about that.
And learn how to make strawberry muffins.
I was about to ask you the last question. What's your favorite recipe on your website that you can recommend?
I was blindsided because they're all my favorite. Wait until my iced coffee recipe drops. Favorite recipe that I have on the website would definitely be blueberry muffins.
Yay. I'm going to try making those blueberry muffins, and I'm going to post or send them to you and let you know how they go.
Yes, send me one. It's going to be good. It's so good.
I'll send it in the mail. You're in Florida, right?
Yes, I live in Florida. The sun shines.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the rainy state currently.
So how's the temperature down there?
Not cool, pun intended. It was 80 last week, and then it was 20s the week before that. And I just need Florida to make up its mind right now because it's emotionally confusing me, and I don't know what to believe. Let's be consistent. I don't know what this winter talk is. I didn't move down here for this. This is rude.
So it's cold?
Absolutely. I have to wear pants now instead of shorts. I don't even own a pair of pants.
Wow.
Where am I supposed to find this? I'm supposed to just stitch some shorts together, I guess. I don't know. It's difficult.
That's so creative.
I guess.
Really fashionable.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know whether to call them short pants or long shorts or what.
Or pants that have connections in sections down, all the way down. That would be really cool because then you would have to kind of walk really in small steps.
Yeah, well, that and women's clothes don't come with pockets anyway. Now I've got plenty of pockets.
Yeah, now you have 16 pockets there.
Exactly. I carry all my recipes in the pockets.
So everyone who's listening to this, if you don't follow Brooke yet, then get on Instagram and find her, Brooke.Steno. You can find all the cool resources she has. And Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have to do more.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Okay, everyone have a great night.
See you later, Bryn. Thanks for having me.
Hey, if you're a busy court reporter, get hours of your life back by hiring a virtual transcript manager. You can find the exact job description I used in 2018 when I hired mine. If you go to courtreporterconnection.com, click About and scroll down, you'll find a button that says Free Download. There, you'll find my exact job description. Use it, customize it, and build your team. Remember, you're running a business, so focus on what you do best and delegate the rest.